आहे मॅम.
A very good morning and happy morning to all. I am Pratima Bhise. Welcome you all on behalf of Pimpri Chenchpad branch of WIRC of ICAI for today's CRET outreach meeting on the topic Proposed Scheme of Education and Training, organized by Board of Studies Academic ICAI, hosted by Pimpri Chenchpad branch WIRC of ICAI and Vikasa Pimpri Chenchpad branch WIRC of ICAI. We start our program here with auspicious light planting ceremony as a tribute to our goddess Mother Saraswati. I request our dignitaries to come forward for lightning lamp ceremony. CA Dayanivas Sharma, Chairman Board of Studies. CA Vishal Doshi, Vice Chairman Board of Studies. CA Chandrasekhar Chitale, Central Council Member ICAI. CA Dr. MS Jadhav, Member Board of Studies Academic ICAI. CA Dr. S.B. Dhavre, former Central Council Member ICAI. CA Vijay Kumar Bamne, Chairman Pimpri Chenchpad branch. CA Sachin Bansal, Vice Chairman Pimpri Chenchpad branch. CA Shailesh Bore, Managing Committee Member. CA Sachin Bherange, Managing Committee Member. I also request to join our past Chairman and Committee Member, CA Chandra Kumar Chabra, CA Ashok Kumar Pagaria, CA Sunil Karbhari, CA Baban Damre.
Starting पर मैं चेक के
I request to all to raise for motto song of our institute.
येष सुप्तेषु जागृति
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्लं तदेव शुक्लब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते अस्मिन् लोकः अस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैत 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 एतद्वैत
Now I request to Chairman C. Vijay Kumar Bamne to welcome C. A. Dayaniva Sharma, Chairman, Board of Studies, by offering floral bouquet and a memento. I request to Vice Chairman C. A. Sachin Bansal to welcome C. A. Vishal Doshi, Vice Chairman Board of Studies, by offering floral bouquet and a memento. I request to Vikasa Chairman C. A. Vaibhav Modi to welcome C. A. Chandrasekhar Chitare, Central Council Member ICAI, by offering floral bouquet and a memento. I request to C. A. Shailesh Bore, Managing Committee Member, to welcome C. A. Dr. M.S. Zadav, Member Board of Studies Academy. I request Managing Committee Member C. A. Sachin Dherange to welcome C. A. Dr. S.B. Zavre sir, by offering floral bouquet and memento. Now I request to Chairman C. A. Vijay Kumar Bamne to propose the welcome address.
Good morning. I am here to give my welcome address to this program, CRET outreach meeting for proposed scheme of education and training organized by Board of Studies ICI and hosted by our branch, that is Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of WIRC ICI and our Vikasa team. Branch managing committee members and Board of Study members have taken lots of efforts to organize this meeting for the benefit of students and members. I welcome on behalf of our branch our today's respected guest of honor, CA Dayanivas Sharma sir, Chairman, Board of Studies, CA Vishal Doshi sir, Vice Chairman of Board of Studies, CA Chandrasekhar Chitle sir, Central Council Member, CA Dr. MS Jadhav sir, Member of Board of Studies. I also welcome our Guru, mentor, and our philosopher, CA SB Zavre sir, and I welcome all my dear friends and professional colleagues. Friends, we know that many changes are going to be happening in our CA course. Everyone is very curious about the new course and little bit worried about it because so many questions are in their mind, like what about availability of article clerks, what about student inflow in CA course, what about recognition of CA and all, etc. New changes in CA course is very important for all CA students and members. Hence, we have organized meeting with Board of Studies. I conclude my opening remark by one motivational English quote. It says, change begins at the end of your comfort zone. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request CA Shailesh Kore, Managing Committee Member, to brief introduce CA Dr. MS Jadhav, Member, Board of Studies.
I think
आदरणीय व्यासपीठ बंधू आणि भगिनींनो, विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, हे सर्व इंग्लिश मध्ये बोलतील त्यांच्या भाषेमध्ये, माझ्या भाषेमध्ये बोलतो. जननी जन्मभूमी से स्वर्गे गती करी अशी, ज्या जन्मभूमीने मला जन्म दिला, ज्या जन्मभूमीने मला लहानाचं मोठं केलं, त्यांचं मी काहीतरी देणं लागतोय. या देण्याच्या भावनेने आम्ही या ठिकाणी उभे आहोत आणि आम्ही देण्यासाठी उभे आहोत. काय देतोय तर आपला नवीन अभ्यासक्रम कसा असेल, स्ट्रक्चर कसा असेल, रचना कशी असेल, काय काय करावं लागेल आणि तुम्हाला काय मिळेल. इयत्ता 10वीला 38% मार्क पडलेला विद्यार्थी सुद्धा सीए होऊ शकतो, मेरिट लिस्ट मध्ये येऊ शकतो, डेप्युटी कलेक्टर होऊ शकतो, पुणे विद्यापीठाचा फायनान्स कंट्रोलर होऊ शकतो आणि वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीचं काम करू शकतो. हे आपल्याला सिद्ध व्हावं, हे सांगावं, हा आईना तुमच्या समोर असावा, या दृष्टिकोनातून हे तुमच्या समोर उभे आहोत. सीए सारखे नरेंद्र मोदी साहेब म्हटले, सीएची सिग्नेचर हे पीएम मोदी पेक्षा किंवा पीएमच्या सिग्नेचर पेक्षा मोठी आहे. अब्दुल कलाम साहेब म्हणले की नेशन बिल्डिंग मध्ये सीएचा सिंहाचा वाटा आहे. मग असे सीए आपण असणार आहोत, असे बनणार आहोत. यासाठी काहीतरी आपल्याला करावं लागेल आणि ते करण्यासाठी आपण या ठिकाणी जमलेलो आहोत. अभ्यासक्रम उत्तम आहे, नॉलेज उत्तम आहे, आपल्याला चॅलेंज नाही, फक्त करण्याची गरज आहे. तुम्हाला मोटिवेशन करण्याची गरज आहे, तुम्हाला काहीतरी, आणि त्या देण्याच्या भावनेने या ठिकाणी आपल्या समोर उभा आहे. हा कोर्सची रचना तुम्ही म्हणाल की आमच्या वेळेस 3 वर्षाची आर्टिकलशिप, आता 2च वर्षाची आर्टिकलशिप. तुम्ही म्हणाल आमच्या वेळेस इंटरमिजिएटला 8 सब्जेक्ट, आता 6 सब्जेक्ट. फायनलला म्हणाल आमच्या वेळेस 8 सब्जेक्ट, आता फक्त 6 सब्जेक्ट, 2च ग्रुप. फाउंडेशन नंतर आपल्याला 8 महिन्याचा पिरियड आणि या ठिकाणी इंटरमिजिएटला रजिस्ट्रेशन करता येणार, काही होईल. आता तुलना मात्र याची करा. आर्टिकलशिपच्या काळात फक्त 24 रजा असतील, वर्षाला 12. तुम्हाला किती मिळाल्या? दोन्ही गोष्टी आहेत ना, म्हणजे कम्पेअर करताना दोन्ही, बोथ कंपॅरिझन विथ ऍपल विथ मँगो नाही होणार, ऍपल विथ ऍपलही करायचं. मग या दृष्टिकोनातून हा रचनात्मक बदल विद्यार्थ्यांना स्किल, आपल्या नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणानुसार विद्यार्थी हा ओरिएंटेड, होलिस्टिक डेव्हलपिंग, सर्वांगीण विकास असणारा विद्यार्थी व्हावा. आजपर्यंत आपण सायकोलॉजी शिकलो का? आजपर्यंत आपण फिलॉसॉफी शिकलो का? आजपर्यंत आपण इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन शिकलो का? हे सर्व शिकता येईल ना, म्हणून नवीन अभ्यासक्रम. त्याच पद्धतीप्रमाणे या नवीन अभ्यासक्रमाची रचना, तुमचं स्किल वाढावं, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल वाढावं, त्याच पद्धतीप्रमाणे IT एक ओरिएंटेड आपण परफेक्ट व्हावं आणि इथिक म्हणजे नवीन शैक्षणिक धोरणामध्ये विद्यार्थ्यांचा सर्वांगीण विकास आणि भारतीय मूल्य शिक्षण हे ज्या पद्धतीचं गरजेचं आहे ते CA इन्स्टिट्यूटने हे मूल्य शिक्षण म्हणजे इथिक्स हा पार्टवर जास्त इम्पॉर्टंट करून सर्व विषयामध्ये त्याचा समावेश केलेला आहे. IT हा विषय आपण काढून टाकलेला आहे, परंतु IT हा सर्व विषयात कुठे कुठे ठिकाणी महत्वाचा आहे त्या दृष्टिकोनातून त्याचा समावेश केलेला आहे. अशी रचना असणारा भारतातील नव्हे जगातील हा पहिला अभ्यासक्रम आहे. आणि अभ्यासक्रम ओपन झाल्यानंतर, अभ्यासक्रम खुला झाल्यानंतर तुम्हाला काय वाटतं, तुमचं काय मत, म्हणजे सर्व स्टेक होल्डर, सर्व भागधारकांना समाविष्ट करून तुमच्या सूचना, तुमच्या सजेशन आणि तुम्हाला काय वाटतं या पद्धतीचा आउटरीच होणारा प्रोग्राम हा फक्त CAचा प्रोग्राम असेल. भारतातील अशी पहिली इन्स्टिट्यूट आहे जी इन्स्टिट्यूट आम्ही जे करतोय ते बरोबर आहे ना असं समाजाला विचारणार. फक्त वेबसाईटवर UGC काय करते, वेबसाईटवर अपलोड करते, तुम्हाला सूचना द्या, सूचना येतात 3 किंवा 4. आपण या पद्धतीने लोकांच्या पर्यंत पोहोचतोय. तुम्हाला अभ्यासक्रम कळला का, नवीन रचना कळली का, ती रचना तुम्हाला मान्य आहे का, काही सजेशन आहेत का, आणि या सजेशनची गोळाबेरीज करून जे चांगलं आहे ते आपण घेणार आहोत आणि जे वाईट नाही. म्हणजे ज्ञानेश्वर माऊली काय म्हटली, स्वधर्मेची अर्जी जे, स्वधर्मेची विनियोगी जे, जे उरे ते भोगे जे संतोषीशी. माऊलीने 750 वर्षापूर्वी काय सांगितलं, जे मिळवणार आहोत, जे कमावणार आहोत, जे नीतीने आणि धर्माने कमावणार आहोत आणि जे खर्च करणार आहोत ते सुद्धा नीतीने आणि धर्माने खर्च करणार आहोत, अशी आपली CA इन्स्टिट्यूट. म्हणून आपण या CA इन्स्टिट्यूटचा एक वेगळ्या पद्धतीचा पॅटर्न सुरू केलाय. तो आपण अंगीकार करावा, आपला फीडबॅक द्यावा. फीडबॅक मध्ये मांडणारी मतं आपण स्पष्ट लिहावी, कारण भारतात लोकशाही आहे. लोकशाही याचा अर्थ तुम्हाला तुमचे मतं मांडण्याचा अधिकार आहे. तो अधिकाराचा अवलंब करा. तुमच्या मित्रांना, तुमच्या मित्रमैत्रिणींना हे लिंक शेअर करा आणि त्या दृष्टिकोनातून जास्तीत जास्त फीडबॅक पॉझिटिव्ह, प्रोएक्टिव्ह आणि काय चांगलं आहे जे तुम्ही कम्पेअर करायला पाहिजे की ऑस्ट्रेलियाच्या CA कोर्समध्ये हे आहे, आपल्या CA कोर्समध्ये हे नाही. कम्पेअर इट and accordingly suggest your suggestion that will be helpful for the board of studies to develop the unique and expert oriented syllabus to our institute and that will help us for the betterment of our nation and betterment of the future. एवढीच विनंती करतो. बाकी विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, शॉर्टकट नाही. CA करताना फक्त एकमेव असा कोर्स आहे की जे करताना कष्ट करावे लागतात. कष्ट करताना कमवा शिका योजना ज्या पद्धतीनं आपल्याला कर्मवीर भाऊराव पाटलांनी सुरू केली, ज्या कमवा शिकेचा मी विद्यार्थी आहे, 60 पैसे तासाला काम करून शिकलेला विद्यार्थी आहे, तशीच तुम्हाला ही रचना आहे. CAचा स्टायपेंड आपला डबल होणार आहे. म्हणजे तुम्ही ज्या पद्धतीनं फी खर्च करणार आहात त्याच्या डबल तुम्ही मिळवणार आहात, पण त्याचबरोबर कष्टही करणार आहात. तुमच्या कष्टाचं मूल्य त्या ठिकाणी योग्य पद्धतीने करण्याची धोरण या ठिकाणी इन्स्टिट्यूटने स्वीकारलेलं आहे. या सगळ्या बाबतचा विचार करा, तुमचा फीडबॅक कळवा आणि जीवनामध्ये कुठल्याही पद्धतीचा शॉर्टकट नाही. याचं उदाहरण सांगताना बाळासाहेब भारदे अण्णा हजारे सांगतात, एक समुद्र आहे, एक नदी आहे आणि एक डोंगर आहे. डोंगरावर पाणी पडलं, पाऊस पडला, धो धो पाऊस पडल्यानंतर पाणी वाहत जातं. खड्डा आल्यानंतर पाणी असं विचार करतं का आपण 21व्या शतकातले आहोत, आपण ओव्हरब्रिज बांधू? पाणी असं विचार करतं का आपण आता बायपास काढू? नो. पाणी त्याच प्रवाहाने येतं, त्याच प्रवाहाने खड्ड्यात जातं, खड्डा भरल्यानंतर पुढे जातं. आपल्या जीवनाला शॉर्टकट नाही, हार्डवर्कला पर्याय नाही. अशा पद्धतीचं धोरण स्वीकारावं आणि या अभ्यासक्रम अंगीकृत आहे त्याचे तुमच्या चांगल्या फीडबॅक जे काय वाटतं तो फीडबॅक तुम्ही द्यावा. आणि समाजामध्ये एक CA ही इन्स्टिट्यूट आणि CA ही फॅटर्निटी किती इम्पॉर्टंट आहे. किती लोक आपल्याशी बोलताना CA म्हणल्यानंतर लगेच सरळ उभे राहतात. कुठल्याही IAS ऑफिसरला सांगितलं मी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटंट आहे की त्यांचा हावभाव पहा, बाहेर पहा, त्या पद्धतीचं तुम्ही हे करावं. आणि आपण बरेचसेच लोक कम्युनिकेशनला कमी पडतो. जे आहे ते बोला, सबमिटिव्हली बोला आणि त्या पद्धतीने काम करा. अशा पद्धतीचं काम करूया. उत्तम CA होता येतं, उत्तम नागरिक बनता येतं आणि आपण समाजासाठी देणं लागतो. या देण्याच्या भावनेने आपण काम करू शकतो. अशी भावना आपण ठेवावी अशी कळकळीची नम्र विनंती करतो. आमचा यथोचित सत्कार केला त्याबद्दल ब्रँचचे मनपूर्वक आभार मानतो. आपण शांतपणे ऐकलं त्याबद्दल आपलाही मनपूर्वक आभार मानतो. स्टेजने आम्हाला बोलण्याची संधी दिली त्याबद्दल त्यांच्याविषयी ऋणता व्यक्त करतो. आणि ज्ञानेश्वर माऊली म्हटल्याप्रमाणे करवली तैसी केली कटकट, वाकडे के नीट आपणच जाणे, वाकडे के नीट आपणच जाणे.
धन्यवाद सर. I request Chairman CA Vijay Kumar Bamne to briefly introduce about CA Dr. S.P. Zabris.
इंट्रोडक्शन मध्ये आपण जास्त वेळ नाही घेणार आहे, पण मी झावरे सरांबद्दल जे बोलायचं होतं तर ऍटलिस्ट मी त्यांना रिक्वेस्ट केली की मला 1-2 मिनिटं तुमच्याबद्दल बोलायचं आहे, तर त्यांनी ते अलाउ केलं. संत ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज आणि संत तुकाराम महाराजांच्या पालखी हे पंढरपूरकडे प्रस्थान करत आहेत. आषाढी एकादशीला त्या सगळ्या जाऊन तिथे मिळतात आणि पांडुरंगाचं दर्शन घेतात. पण माझ्यासाठी पांडुरंग म्हणजे हे झावरे सरच आहेत. आपल्या सगळ्यांसाठी पांडुरंग हे सरच आहेत. मला आज तो दिवस आठवतोय की ज्या दिवशी मी औरंगाबादहून पुण्यावर येण्यासाठी 27 तासाचा प्रवास केला होता, जो 5 तासाचा प्रवास आहे. मी तो ट्रेननं औरंगाबाद टू मनमाडवरून मी दौंडला आणि दौंडवरून मी पुण्याला आलो. काय तर ट्रेनचं तिकीट 22 रुपये होतं आणि बसचं तिकीट त्यावेळेस 100 रुपये होतं. त्यावेळेस ज्यावेळेस मी सरांच्या क्लासेसच्या तिथं आलो, मला फार भीती वाटत होती की सरांच्या क्लासमध्ये जाऊ कसं, विचारू कसं सरांना काय, कारण की माझ्याकडे फक्त 4,000 रुपये होते आणि सरांच्या क्लासेसची फीस 13,000 रुपये होती. मग एक दिवस त्याच्यात गेला. मग दुसऱ्या दिवशी मी सरांचा नंबर घेतला, कॉइन बॉक्सहून फोन केला सरांना, सर मी असं आहे, अंबाजोगाईचा विद्यार्थी आहे, पण मला आता CA करायचं आहे आणि तुमच्या मदतीची खूप गरज आहे. मग त्यावेळेस सरांनी सांगितलं की तू मला पर्सनली येऊन भेट, मी तुला फोनवर ते बोलता नाही येणार. मग मी भीत सरांकडे कॅबिन मध्ये गेलो आणि त्यावेळेस 13,000 रुपयाची फीस असताना सरांनी मला 4,000 रुपयामध्ये ऍडमिशन दिलं. आणि अशा माझ्यासारख्या इंजिनियर विद्यार्थ्यांसाठी सरच हे पांडुरंग आहेत. म्हणून आज आपल्या ब्रँचमध्ये आपले पांडुरंग आलेले आहेत. त्यांचं इंट्रोडक्शन करणे इतकी माझी कॅपॅसिटी नाहीये. कुठलीही डिग्री त्यांच्या पुढे फार छोटी आहे. एवढं बोलून मी माझं थांबतो. सर प्लीज.
Chairman of the Board of Studies, CA Dayanivas Sharma from Hyderabad, Vice Chairman CA Vishal Doshi, CA Chandrasekhar Chitale, Chairman of the Direct Tax Committee and the Central Council member from Pune, Chairman of the Pimpri Chinchwad branch, CA Vijay Bamne, past Chairman of Pimpri Chinchwad branch, Managing Committee members, CA Dr. Ashok Kumar Pagaria, former Regional Council member of WRC, and my dear and near student friends. First of all, I am proud of CA Dayanivas Sharma as well as CA Chandrasekhar Chitale being my students while pursuing the Chartered Accountancy course from Pune. Except Vishal Doshi, all sitting on the dais, I had an opportunity and fortune to give them words of wisdom.
My misfortune.
I really congratulate Board of Studies for revising the syllabus for the CA curriculum. I remember the year 1973 when I passed out CA. I was 98% accountant and 2% business solution provider. Today, I am 98% business solution provider and only 2% accountant. Thanks to the information technology. Thanks to the information technology, whereby this sea change has happened in the profession. The Board of Studies want a chartered accountant to be a business solution provider. He has to be true professional. The course must be have taken a lot of efforts, and I really congratulate Chairman, Vice Chairman, entire team, the members of the Board of Studies Academic for taking this CRET further. I was a witness to the last CRET and then a lot of work. I'm aware how much efforts are required to put in order to make a change. So the I already submitted my feedback form as one of the stakeholders in the best interest of the ICAI, best interest of the profession and best interest of the students. But what CA Dr. MS Zadov talked about, there are no shortcuts. You have to work a lot. And it is the course of honor, whereby the society recognizes you as a true professional. And we have to maintain that ethics and we have to maintain the standard. And therefore I am always talking about the word perfect, the mantra of success. The P stands for professionalism. A lot of things are included. E stands for effectiveness. R is the regularity. F is the firmness. T is the self-evaluation. My strength, my time consciousness. This is very important for an effective chartered accountant, a business solution provider. I believe chartered accountant is a financial doctor. Chartered accountant is financial architect. Chartered accountant is financial engineer. Even chartered accountant is financial lawyer. Because even the advocate prepare a draft. He prepare only from legal angle. But a chartered accountant look into, he read with reference to accounting, with reference to finance, with reference to taxation, and even with reference to commercial knowledge also in addition to the law points. And therefore I say, today the chartered accountant's role is changed to a business solution provider. And for that purpose, this CRET is there. A lot of change is required. And for that purpose, the syllabus of the CA course has to match with reference to international standards. They have compared. They have seen Australia syllabus, they have seen UK, they have seen the USA CPA syllabus, and then only the syllabus is framed. My dear friends, what is talked about, this is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is educational body for the CA course, is a regulator for the profession, and they have to ensure that the finished output of the CA course is capable to do what Constitution requires. And from that perspective, there are a lot of changes has been made. And this change is inevitable and has to be there because change is only constant. So there are few suggestions. I think I can talk right now. Those, but just in general, let them also give the feedback. When I joined the council in 2010, my first day question was to Amarjit Chopra ji, who was my president. Sir, what is input-output ratio of the students in CA course? They said, not understood. I say, how many students join foundation course, pass the foundation examination, join the intermediate, pass out the intermediate examination, come for final and output, input-output ratio? I couldn't get the answer at that time, even from the Board of Studies. Then I talked about, in general, if 100 students join the foundation course, let's say 30 pass. The result was at that time. Out of 30, intermediate, taken into consideration 20%. 6 students pass, repetitive again, appearance, there will be 10 students, intermediate level. 10 students join final course, even 20% further, 2, further add 1 or 2, and it comes to 4 or 5. That means input-output ratio, if it is coming 100:5, 100:10 even, what's about the remaining 90 and what's about the remaining 95? I'm glad that this CRET has considered BBA from that angle, and that's very, very important. That was the suggestion of 2010. Now, taking into consideration this input-output ratio, then they said, what is your suggestion? I said, my suggestion is to improve the input-output ratio, and from that angle, even I suggested that the foundation examination passing percentage has to be 60%. Now, you have made it 50, but I was talking about at that time and even today that who should join the intermediate course? Who should reasonably become a chartered accountant? There is a capability, there is a qualification, there is intelligence, there is pursueness. And from that angle, if we are able to consider my suggestion of passing percentage of 60%, it will be better. So that life will not be miserable. Student will be able to choose the line of his career immediately passing or failure of foundation examination, whether he is going to become a chartered accountant. Because I am seeing thousands and lakhs of students who have not become a chartered accountant, but they are good accountants. They are the good accountants, and for that purpose, BBA is already there. But my suggestion, whatever you have suggested as far as CRET is concerned, what you stated, that 50 in each subject, 50% I understand. For intermediate and final, you have made minimum 40 in each subject and aggregate 50%. My suggestion would be 50%, 60% I talked about, but even we have to keep 50%, then in that case, please keep it at par with intermediate and final examination, minimum subject wise 40 and aggregate 50%. Because there are some subjects which are likely and unlikely to a student. So I can give one example. A girl from Hyderabad, you also know, she got 99 marks in CA final accounting paper. And she telephoned me, sir, I got 99 in accounting of the final paper. I said, congratulations, Gauri, that you got 99, maybe the highest so far in the history of the institute. She was crying. I thought that it's a joyous cry. Continued crying. After 5 minutes, she said, sir, I failed CA final examination. And this was something shock to me. And she said, I don't like that corporate loss paper. And therefore I said, my suggestion, I just give one example, so that minimum 40 and aggregate 50%. Suggestion number one. Suggestion number two, you are एक पाँच मिनट I'm glad that you have continued the exemption. If a student get more than 60 marks in a particular paper and continuation. But sir, so far in all the past examinations, there is a carry forward of that exemption for a subsequent 3 attempts that also you have taken into consideration. Only one small suggestion. What is done, that remaining papers of the group, a student is required to secure minimum 50% in the remaining papers. My suggestion is be graceful and allow them. In case of the student got 65, he has a surplus of 15. That surplus is useful for the purpose of remaining offset of the paper. So if you are kind enough and if you get suggestions from the stakeholders, I just want that suggestion also. Number 2. Number 3, as far as articleship is concerned, I really congratulate for this innovative thinking. But don't say only 2 years, because even after becoming a chartered accountant, academic degree, there are a number of international courses are there whereby you can academically pass and join the industry. But here there is articleship at least for a 2 year. And if I want to practice, I have to do further articleship, maybe with some minimum amount of remuneration or normal amount of remuneration for a period of 1 year. That is very good. So you are not exposed as far as certificate of practice is concerned on day 1, for which you have to take professional exposure and professional experience of 1 year. Congratulations for that. No problem. I only want small suggestion. In case I want to do the practice, you talked about 1 year, but if I'm in service, number of years I served, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, and I want to enter into practice. It is not worthwhile that he must have exposure for a period of 1 year. My suggestion is 6 months. But for that purpose, you can even put condition that minimum service they should have done for a period of 3 years. 3 years, 5 years, whatever you want to do. But once I've done for 5 years service, I'm already exposed to the profession. I'm aware about finalization of accounting. I know the taxation. I know the GST. I know about the chartered accountancy profession. And therefore, still they want to practice. They must come for professional exposure, but that period should be reduced to 6 months only for those who are in service. That is another suggestion. Let me just see, I jotted down the points. Can we think of articleship completely through industrial training? I'm sure that this point might have already deliberated. The reason very simple. Today, 95% newly passed chartered accountants join the industry. Because you put 1 year. Problem is, from the chartered accountant point of view, I'm looking into 6 months are required to get acquainted with the firm. Then he will do further articleship for a period of 6 months by the time he want to join the industry. So neither the chartered accountant nor he is fully exposed. So you can say that if my orientation is towards practice, I will join for articleship with the chartered accountant in practice. And if my orientation is to join the industry, I will do my articleship with member in industry. Just one thinking, I'm also not fully convinced myself on this proposal, but just a thought I want to give it. Very important part, and that is about admission for CA course after passing both groups of the intermediate examination. Sunil Karbar is looking to me and saying, sir, can I get now articles? But the board of studies are bold enough to decide not only for a chartered accountant, but for the students. And therefore, how can we say that they have to join only after passing both groups? That is one objective is very loud objective, and that is very, very important. Full concentration on articleship. But that may create a problem for number of articles with a chartered accountant. But I'm sure that for the purpose of CRET, that should not be taken into consideration. I just put this point for your thinking. I don't have any suggestion. I'm fully agreeable that they should join the CA course or CA final examination or articleship only after passing 2 groups. But I am giving the suggestion, what our members are talking about. Sir, can I get articleship? I say, CRET is primarily for the CA curriculum, and probably you have to find out those are trainees. And for this purpose, my sincere request to you is, let's find out some alternative for this purpose, and for that purpose, can we enter into number of MOUs with colleges? Those students who are in SY BCom, TY BCom, not join the course, at least they will join the chartered accountants firm, and we will be able to have both advantage. I will get advantage as well as they will also get practical exposure. These are my few suggestions. Really speaking, friends, all of our majority of the students here, I really want today to give your comments, your feedback, your thinking, your suggestions, because you are a future chartered accountant. And you have to think of your career. And which career? Not only becoming chartered accountant, a professional chartered accountant, a chartered accountant which is required by the constitution, a business solution provider. Let me give the solutions to the industry. Let's prosper, because Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is a partner in nation building. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to put some points of for thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for putting forth your opinions. I request CA Chandrasekhar Chitra, sir, to kindly address the audience.
Good morning. Good morning. Honorable dignitaries on the desk, off the desk, and students friends. We are here to really listen to thoughts from chairman and vice chairman. So I would confine my speech because I am from Pune and there would be many more occasions to interact. Only before I proceed, for the understanding of my colleagues on council, Dayanivas and Vishal, how many of you are at present have joined this particular course? Please raise your hands.
They have passed foundation. Foundation examination, how many have passed? Right.
Everybody. So
There are some direct entry students are there.
So let me also inform that as far as what CRET and what new curriculum we are going to talk, this particular new curriculum will come into force from next year, 2023. Maybe first exam would be in March or so, November, depending upon how the government reacts. But that does not mean you are at a disadvantageous pedestal. And therefore, let me state that even today, with the present course, there are more than 100 countries in which the chartered accountants are serving, and the number is more than 40,000. So it's not that you are unfortunate that you are doing the present course. No doubt, there are significant differences in the new course and the old course. Old course or the current course. So current course is also equally challenging, and it affords substantial number of opportunities. Let me inform that at the present this campus placement program, there were 25,300 vacancies which were posted at our institute's committee, and the chartered accountants available for the purpose of taking jobs were just 21,800. So even the number of vacancies available and the number of chartered accountants wanting to take a vacancy, there is a favorable ratio. So whatever curriculum you are pursuing is no doubt a world-class curriculum. Even a UK institute, NARIC, which internationally benchmarks all the courses, Zavre sir was party to it. So 4 years ago, we have been categorized as postgraduate degree, and worldwide this particular course with the existing curriculum is being recognized. So definitely, as my predecessor said, MS Zavre sir, that what is required is to work with focus. We know that in case of Arjun, that a parrot was there and he was asked to aim with bow, and the guru asked everybody that, okay, what are you are looking at? Everybody said, I am looking at a tree, I am looking at the parrot, I am looking at the bird, etc. And only Arjuna answered that I am looking at the eye of the bird. I believe that if you pursue this curriculum with this particular focus, I am sure you would not only qualify, but will come out with flying colors. And with that, I conclude, so that we have more time to listen to those my council colleagues who have come. Dayanivas has come from Hyderabad, and Vishal Doshi has come from Baroda. So, because of my invitation, they are here to discuss you on one-to-one basis these features of the new curriculum. So, I thank you for coming over here, and sure that we are looking forward to the whatever the features are there and whatever efforts are being taken by the institute and what stores in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Requesting Board of Studies Vice Chairman CA Vishal Doshi to kindly address the audience. Okay. Requesting CA Dayanivas Sharma sir, Chairman Board of Studies, to kindly address the audience.
Thank you very much. For you students, I can tell you one thing. If you go and see my Facebook wall, there is a poster which is there. And the poster says, work until your idol become your rival. Work until your idol become your rival. So there are two people who always I thought who are my hardcore rivals. One, my biological father, my own father. And second is the person
Very
sitting
important,
here,
who is also a chartered accountant.
who is also a chartered accountant. He is also a central council member. He was a central council member earlier. And the second person is sitting here. So what I want to say by that is, it's not a negative word which I am using. It's primarily a motivational statement I made. But the day your father or your guru praises you, I think that is the day your life actually gives a purpose to move forward. A chair where Zavre sir used to sit might be not the same chair, but some chair around it. A person like me also has sat, and today I am the chairman of board of studies. The only message which I can give you is, when I came to Pune for studies, I completed my articles 3 years with PwC, and I completed only one group of my intermediate. That time I was so much engaged in learning and all those things. And for just all your information, I am one student who wrote 14 times CA examination. And today I am the chairman board of studies. Why I am saying this is not for any other reason. Every time I used to call him and I used to get motivation. So the failure was more for me to take motivation from him, I believe, rather than actually cribbing or worried about anything. There are many saying, Jo Jadhav sir bhi bole Marathi mein, I understood what it is, but it is very difficult for me to reproduce. When Chitle sir what he talked about the Arjun story, I can tell you only one thing is, when Zavre sir has given his comment before we came here and we wanted to request in person in me and Vishal that sir gives his comments, and he is fortunately at this age where he is equal to my father's age. He's done it. So all you students have to promise that. Yes, promise.
Yes. Loudly.
Definitely
yes.
Already done.
That is because the transition which we are trying to get is not only from I'll talk about why this transition is coming and what makes you a future ready chartered accountant, that I'll talk about it later. But you all can do one thing, BOS CRET, BOS CRET, your mobiles are there, which is having internet, or might be on your paper pen you take it, BOS CRET .ici.org, BOSCRET.ici.org. This is the site which you need to go and give your feedback after listening to what Vishal is going to speak about. And one more important request, that all you people, you are the brand ambassadors of this profession. Not only your dreams, but your parents' dreams are attached to this profession, right? So the moment you complete your feedback, you on your social media, whether it is Instagram, whether it is LinkedIn, Facebook, then so many other Twitter, kindly write saying that I have done my job, have you done? Right? Because we want this profession to be future ready profession. Why? Again, I'm going to talk about it in detail. See, when you talk before your father or a guru like him, it's actually a challenging thought for us to convince these people who have seen the world, because our age is equal to their experience, or their experience is much more than my age. Right? So when he has made certain statement, it makes a lot of sense for us to understand what it means. Might be at the age in which you are sitting, how much you understood and how much you have not is the second part. But this is going to sit in your brain, and you realize when you see the commercial world, when you start facing the commercial world, then all the words which he spoke will actually ring a bell. in your ears at a time and situation when it is required. A CA student is not a small responsibility. In a country like 140 crore population, only 3,50,000 chartered accountants are there. Just imagine out of which 40,000 chartered accountants are not in India abroad. That means we are left with 3,10,000. Out of 3,10,000, 50 to 60% people are in industry. That means how much मेरा mathematics थोड़ा कम है. कितना है? 50%, right? 1,75,000. That means only 1,75,000 are the chartered accountants who are in practice. Neither the industry has people, nor the profession has people. We are short of supply. Now that means how much focused you have to be. Just imagine and think and what kind of opportunity which is there for all you people, think for them. Don't get demotivated, I'm telling you. Doesn't matter. If you fail, don't have botheration. If any friend of yours has failed in writing again examination, don't see it in. You think about what you can do in your career, right? So one is that. Now coming to the thoughts which Zavi sir actually spoke about, so quickly just would like to give a response because it's very difficult to, when father or guru again ask any question, you have the answer, but you don't have the guts to respond. But yes, I know for a fact that the responses which we are going to give, we'll really appreciate of what we are thinking and why we are thinking, and I hope our thoughts will get synced. And there will be a lot of new ideas which sir is going to give us because he's taught so many students across and he's seeing the world from his eyes in a different perspective. So with regards to the input-output ratio, that was one of the biggest drawback undoubtedly for our profession. And that is where the new education policy 2020 talked about easy entry and easy exit. So when they talked about easy entry and easy exit, what we thought as ICI is, it's important that we adopt that. What has happened now out of 3,50,000 chartered accountants, which means if you just imagine what will be the percentage based on do a reverse calculation and tell you how many people would have actually been in the CA course. So you talked about 5%, right? More or less. So if 3,50,000 chartered accountants are 5%, 70 lakhs. 17. 70. So our mathematics, their mathematics is very quick. You have done the foundation, so you have mathematics as a paper which I didn't do. But however, I got 99 in my mathematics when I wrote my 12th standard. And fortunately, sir, the lady who got 99 marks is my partner.
Oh.
Not in my firm. My life partner is a lady from Maharashtra, so I'm very happy with her. That is one thing. So she's a partner in the firm and she's continuing to be there. And next one was, sir, with regards to the foundation examination, 50 or 60%, the reason of getting it 50% itself was from thought that, filtration happened at that level itself. So 60 would be little harsh. So 50 is better, sir. We request you to kindly consider that. Then minimum pass mark continues to be at the aggregate of 50. The aggregation is required to be 50 in inter and final, and 40 is a passing. Then third is suggestion which sir talked about with regards to allowing the surplus. Yes, well taken, sir. I think even I am of the same view that whatever surplus you have got, you should be in position to use it. But again, that depends on certain other factors. The second point was with regards to the post-qualification period of working under a chartered accountant, which is not a articleship period, sir. We are very clear, which we are going to come out, because largely people are thinking that, sir, the third year is for articleship period. It's not articleship period. You are qualified. When you are there in the industry or getting a salary in industry, then the person who is qualified and has to work under a chartered accountant has to work under a chartered accountant with a market salary only, not with articleship or stipend. So it's going to be like a paid assistant, which we have very clearly made it. But on 28th, we are going to come out with all our clarifications so that people get to know about it. Then one more important factor which you talked about, your articleship for industrial training. In the current scenario also, if you talk about individually 2 years article, 1 year articleship with a CA form, 1 year with industrial training. If you talk to me on an individual note, which I'm going to share in my comment as an individual, as a stakeholder, I am going to give it saying that, both years should be only articleship review, not industrial review. Because 1 year is not sufficient, 100% not sufficient to work. And the second part is when we talk about, sir, this profession, sir is the big witness because 73 when my father qualified, he also qualified. This profession primarily is for practice. Over a period of time, employment has become important. Now, one discussion and deliberation is that do we actually discriminate and say that you are member in industry or member in practice, or do we say chartered accountant means he's a chartered accountant? So what one more suggestion which you are telling that for a person who is willing to go in industry, let him go in industry. But the fundamental thing is that in industry, the kind of learning and experience they are going to have under the chartered accountant in practice, because the chartered accountant in practice will have income tax, GST, audit, other kind of things. Whereas if you put these people in the industry, the challenge will be that they will be put in a monotonous job of might be procurement to pay, salary process, payroll process, this process, that process, and the exposure might be getting restricted. So though the person is going to qualify equally as a chartered accountant from practice and chartered accountant from industry, the quality of chartered accountant in practice will be better when compared to industry. I personally feel, that is my opinion, sir. So might be as a father, again I am talking to you in an individual form. So this is one thought which we should actually really look at. But alternative thought also is very good from a point of view of industry person. But again, industry, what is the conditions we need to put? We need to really think about it. That is another part, sir. And admission for articleship post intermediate was one more thing we are talking about, sir. Sir, the challenge with regards to availability of articles, there are two thoughts. Thankfully, that you touched the and tickled the main important point. That today we are telling that intermediate student, only both groups who have completed should join articleship. The challenge might be if the people don't pass, then they are struggling to get in. So what we are trying to tell is basically we might actually get for 3 times in a year or 4 times in a year intermediate examinations. Because 30-70 is the ratio which has been made out. 30% of the examination will be MCQ based, case study based, which we can create and keep it ready. You know the examination process, how cumbersome it is. So if we create the case studies and be ready with the 30 marks, only the 70 marks is a story which we need to really think about and see how we can add more and more people as examiners so that the process get completed. And a student today who is waiting for 6 months to write his next examination, they are well prepared. Unfortunately, they could not write it well for whatever reason. So it is better that either in a 4 months time or 3 months time, we have one more examination so that quicker is the result. They don't lose interest, and more importantly, that process of pain is not there. So that I think is one thought which we are really working on, but that is a challenge which is there undoubtedly from our side also, because the size in which our students write is not matchable anywhere in the world. Ours is the biggest student size, which is 7.5 lakh students, is not a simple number. Even averagely, if we talk about annually, we have not less than 1 lakh of students who are writing examination on a half year basis. So we need to really relook on how we can do it. Yes, your suggestion, your input, that's what I was telling, subgroup which we are going to create. How do we think, Chitra sir, this is something which we need to really think. How do we think that 3 times or 4 times in a year we are able to conduct intermediate examination so that the flow of students can come? Then the second side was one more discussion and deliberation came, sir, because you told, I just remembered that thought, that we might also come out with the probability where the impact on articles is not there for the practicing firms. That 2 years with both qualifications on the group 1, group 2 clear. And if a person wants to complete group 1 or group 2 and come and do articles, for that person we might tell 3 years articles you do.
Okay.
So that
This is
a student who is very strong, he is confident that he can pass or she can pass, can complete both groups and join articles. And a person who feels that let me go systematically step by step. So we are actually giving a level playing ground. We can actually think about it. There is no suggestion which is there, but yes, you can put a suggestion from your side. It can come on. And these are all things which we are actually deliberating, sir. And this outreach is giving us a lot of new thoughts, new inputs, and the way we need to think. Example, in foundation, someone told, why do you want to put only mathematics? The 4 papers which are there, the 5th paper you give computers, you give some other subject. Student who is not good in mathematics can actually opt out of 5 any 4. So he can eliminate mathematics and do something else. So that means good quality students also will continue to be there who are weak might be in mathematics. So considering all these factors, and most importantly for all you people, what are all being considered in this new syllabus is not only these factors today we are able to talk before you. Please understand, you are all going to be the beneficiary in one or the other form. One, if you don't respond, the answer is don't cry later. Right? And third is we are coming before you. That structure is not finalized. This is a proposed structure. If you give suggestions, even one good suggestion we get, we are ready to accept it because we want to see it pragmatically rather than just getting a restricted approach. Now, one is this approach which we are doing outreach. We have done, I think I can tell you one thing, on Sunday and Monday, 2 days, I have done 8 lectures in Mumbai, 8 lectures, and we touched upon close to 2,000 people across Mumbai. And all these people are coming forward and giving their suggestions, and not only they who have listened to us, our discussions, they are actually going back to the other students, giving clarity to the other students and telling them to also give their feedback. Now, why I am telling you to give feedback? Some people, you are now intermediate completed, you are going to write intermediate examination, right? So that means if you are writing in this is what, June, so that means you will be writing in November. God grace you all pass. You will be writing 8 papers, right? But the new breed of chapter accounts who are going to write in May 23 or November 23 might only write 6 papers. But again, there are certain other transitory provisions which are going to come. So you people don't think much. Don't even think about deferring your examination, because what we are going to give, we are also going to take back in some form. Let us be very clear, because they will be having self-paced learning. You might not have self-paced learning because you have done corporate and other laws, so which Vishal is going to talk about. So you people have to prepare from that point, and you all will be eligible to write final examination in the new syllabus. So it is more important that you all people understand what is there in the syllabus and what is the change we are making. We have considered National Education Policy NEP 2020, which is the most talked about education policy in the world, right? We have considered all the points in that. Number 2, we have done a comparison with international education standards, and that is where we wanted to ensure that we are actually comparable with any institute in the world. Third, what we have done is 7 different institutes, the best institutes of the world, we have taken their syllabus, their way of learning, teaching, what is the combinations which are there, and based on this, the new alignment is being made. Okay, so this is the third point. And the fourth point is easy entry and easy exit. What it means is the student who could not clear his CA final examination will be still getting a certificate which is called BAA, Business Accounting Associate. And the best part about this, sir, is this is not going to be applicable for the student registering for the new course, but this also will be applicable to all those people who have been part of this fraternity, could not clear, and today they are lost, we don't know where, and we want to recognize their contribution and having trust in the profession, right, in form of issuing the certificate called BA. This is where we are moving. So what will happen, most of the parents think that, my son or daughter cannot pass the exam because it is tough. But now what will happen is, at least if he passes intermediate, which is equal to and much better than most of the international courses in the country. In many colleges, some people have been given directions to go and do some other course which is easier. अरे अगर easy लेना था तो सी में आया क्यों भाई? और अगर आज ही अपन लाइफ से कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर लेंगे तो कल क्या होगा? Right? And the CA intermediate is equivalent or much better than most of the best degrees which are available in the country and the world. right? So my request to you all people is, considering all these factors, the kind of value add we are trying to give. See, हम तो पास हो गए ना, हम तो पास हो गए, हमको क्या करना है, क्या होने वाला है, but हमको क्या करना है समझो, मेरा भतीजा, my nephew is also doing CA. Tomorrow my daughter, who is only 15 years, might also like to do CA. Your younger brother, your elder brother, your relative, your cousin, your family member would like to do CA. This is more important, and this course, as I told you in the beginning, we have only 3,50,000 chartered accountants in the country like India, which is having 140 crore population. And today it is becoming more relevant to file income tax return, complete the audits, everything on time. So that means, just imagine, and today the most important part, when you talk about automation, when you talk about IT companies, information technology companies, do you know they are hiring chartered accountants in hundreds? Hundreds I am talking about. That means, just imagine the kind of market which is available for all you people. Even the audit firms like us, which are mid-sized audit firms, we are requiring chartered accountants. I have 23 chartered accounts in my firm. Vishal Bhai will have not less than 50 chartered accounts in his firm. Chitle Sahab will have another 25-30 chartered accounts in his firm. So what is happening is, we are trying to create a positivity in the entire system so that more and more people get encouraged. And why we wanted to, tweak this entire thing, we have trimmed the entire course in such manner. Education is not burdensome, but education is pleasuresome to complete the course, right? So listen from this perspective and understand what it is, and more importantly, don't go out of this hall till the time you get feedback. And any person who is going to go out of the hall without giving feedback, that means that person has no confidence in the course. That's the only thing. You are now part of the entire fraternity, and do your best, what best you can do from your side, and ensure that you encourage 8-10 students from your side, or your principals. If you have started already your articles, tell your principals, tell your friends to complete the entire feedback, right? So look forward to welcoming you in near future and seeing as our competition. I was telling my father, seniors are no more competition for us in practice. It's you people who are going to be the competition for us, because you are the people who are going to learn the new laws, new regulations. Right? So look forward. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Requesting Board of Studies Vice Chairman, CA Vishal Joshi sir, to kindly take over.
स्टेज पे चलना होता है.
Yeah, a very good morning, friends. The advantage of speaking last is that you have to speak the least, because all the predecessor speakers would have covered in one way or the other. But I have been given this task of taking you through the changes in greater details. Savre sir mentioned about all being his student. Sir, I would say I was unfortunate because I did my CA and everything from Calcutta. Otherwise, if I would have been in the Western region, definitely I would have also been fortunate to be your student. Sir, you mentioned that you passed in 1973. That is the year I was born. So, sir, thank you. It's indeed a privilege to be amongst the August house over here, and with the students, the young energetic students, they also make my adrenaline flow. Before going to the nitty-gritties, some clarifications that I would like to mention based on the feedback or the interactions that we have been having so far. Yesterday at कल शाम को I was having this virtual outreach with one of our Western India branches और वहाँ पे एक student ने पूछा कि सर there is a fear among students कि वो अगर feedback देंगे कुछ with the WRO numbers तो ICA उसके पीछे पड़ जाएगी. So this was actually a question based. So I think यहाँ पे जावरे सर है, चितले सर है, दया सर है, and ये वो वाले दया नहीं है जो दरवाजा तोड़ते हैं, ये वो है जो सबको जोड़ते हैं. So friends, let me assure you on behalf of everybody of the institute, the board, that we are here to do the outreach and to take genuine feedbacks, whatever you feel. It's very important, and what Daya sir mentioned, that it can be just one comment, right? Everybody might agree with whatever is the proposal. There might be some hundreds of comments going in one direction, but there might be some very, very, I would say, a unique comment which might make us brainstorm, and therefore feel free. This is a democratic process, I would say, and it's not that आप WRO number लिखेंगे तो कोई पीछे पड़ेगा. ऐसा हमारे पास भी time नहीं है, to be very honest, because we've got so many feedback and we expect large number of feedback, and our time limits, we are working on a timeline. And I would just share that after all your comments would be received, we would go through each and every one of them. Jadhav sir also mentioned that we would be going through each and every one of them. We will be deliberating at length at the board of studies. Then if there are any revisions to be carried out, they would be carried out at the board of studies. Then they would be moved to the council. Detailed deliberations should have be done at the council also. The council may approve the recommended scheme with or without modifications. Again, then we'll have to go back to the ministry with the change in the regulations, make necessary presentations and give explanations to the ministry also about the changes that are proposed, and this whole exercise that we are doing for public outreach, what were the comments, what were the feedback, we'll have to explain it to them also, and then they would finally notify it again, I would say, with or without modifications. So this is the whole process. It's a very transparent process that would be followed. And friends, the timelines that we are working at is November 2022 to get the final approval from the ministry, to get it published in the official gazette. And if you ask for a specific date, we are looking at the World Congress of Accountants, 18th November 2022, to launch the new curriculum. This is what is the timelines that all of us are working at. Many times students also ask, definitely आपका interest है, ये कब से apply होगा, कौन से attempt से apply होगा, right? So as we go through, you would appreciate that there are some major changes, some bold changes also, like Zavre sir also mentioned, Chitle sir also mentioned, there are some bold changes that the council have taken, and therefore the transition is also going to be tough. Our very aggressive view would be that May 23 examination, if we can make this operational, otherwise November 23, and that is where chairman sir mentioned कि आपका अभी जो है वो आप चालू रखिए. Don't just say wait कि भाई ये होगा तो हम बाद में करेंगे. CM ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, आपको चालू ही, you have to remain constantly into it. So this is as far as the timelines and the, so many times when we interact, students पूछते हैं मेरा इंटर का एक ग्रुप हो गया है, आगे क्या करना है, फाइनल का एक ग्रुप हो गया है, क्या करना है. So if you ask me today, because the scheme is still, I would say, in a work in process, it's not yet a finished product. Until it becomes a finished product, or it is very nearing a finished product, सिर्फ packing करना बाकी है, तब तक transition provision भी, if we would work on it, I don't deny that, but to come out with the transition provision would also be extremely difficult. But to that, what I would recommend, if you have such questions on the transition, please do write to us. That when we do the transition, we would ensure that all of them do get covered and we don't miss out on the important aspects with respect to the transition that would be there. So now coming to the scheme in detail, one of the objectives, I would say, of the CRET, the full form is Committee for Review of Education and Training, and also what was told to us, I would say, not requested, but told to us, by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs is not to dilute the CA curriculum. Right? So whatever changes were to be made, they were to keep in mind, or the I would say the content and the output intact without diluting it. So presently, friends, we have 20 papers spread over 3 levels: the foundation, intermediate, and final. Foundation, we have 4 papers, intermediate 8, and final 8. So total 20 papers. What is now being proposed is 20 papers would remain 20 papers, but instead of 3 levels, we would now, the proposal is to have 4 levels. So at the foundation, we would continue to have 4 papers. Intermediate 8 papers would be brought down to 6 papers, 3 papers in each of the 2 groups. Final would be brought down from 8 papers to 6 papers, 3 papers in each of the 2 groups. And there would be a layer between intermediate and final that would be introduced, that is a self-paced online module. Now, as the name suggests, it's self-paced. That means you can do it at your own pace, at your own comfort, at your own ease. But this would be a condition, a criteria for you to apply or appear for the final examination. मतलब इंटर के बाद फाइनल के पहले ये 4 पेपर आपको क्लियर करने हैं. Right? This is what is the self-paced online module. We would be bringing in a lot of technology into this. So what we are working on, or what we are looking at in this self-paced, is that in the 2.5 years that you have in between, you can pick up any of the paper at any time, prepare for that, appear for that exam. It will be an 100% an online exam. We are also bringing in the proctoring technology for those who are aware that घर पे ही बैठ के on the laptop, on your computer, you can appear for that exam. And again, this is not, so the whole purpose is examination pressure थोड़ा कम हो जाए. So we typically say examination pressure is the May November pressure at the intermediate and final, that comes down, and you have this 2.5 years in between where you can complete these 4 papers at your own sweet will. Right? So that is what is the whole concept in this. Coming to the paper specifics, at the foundation level, like I said, we are continuing with 4 papers, but there is some change with respect to the content in the 4 papers. Presently, we have principles and practice of accounting paper 1, so accounting continues. But the proposal is that a few topics from the intermediate paper 1, accounting, would be brought in at the foundation level. Paper 1 would be an objective paper, MCQ based, with 25% negative marking for each wrong answer. Paper 2, presently we have business laws and business correspondence and reporting. What is being proposed is that business correspondence and reporting would be dropped from the syllabus, paper 2. It is typically for those who want about the English language, the English grammar, the correspondence, reporting and all. So what is being proposed is separate recommendatory online course the Board of Studies would carry out. Based on that, if the student feels that he or she needs to appear for that, to go through that course, it is recommendatory in nature, the student can definitely go for it. As far as the foundation paper 2 is concerned, it would now be 100% business laws. So a few laws would be added into this and it would become business laws. Paper 2 would be descriptive, so that we can test also the writing and the communication skills of the students at the foundation level. So that is what is paper 2. Paper 3 remains the same with respect to maths, logical reasoning and statistics. Objective type paper with MCQs, this is what is paper 3. And paper 4, business economics and business and commercial knowledge. Over here also, business and commercial knowledge is proposed to be dropped, because the thought process is that when the student goes for practical training, does the articleship, he or she is exposed to various different types of businesses, अलग-अलग clients के वहाँ पे जाते हैं, different systems को लोग audit करते हैं, there are internal controls, you go through a lot of these business decisions, the management decisions, and it is felt that during the course of articleship, that exposure that the student would get should be sufficient to empower them with respect to the business and the commercial knowledge, and so that is proposed to be dropped. Or जो business economics है, intermediate में we have economics or finance, so that would be brought into at the foundation level, and it would become a full 100 marks business economics paper. Again, paper 4 would be a descriptive paper at the foundation level. So paper 1 and 3 would be objective, paper 2 and 4 would be descriptive. This is what would be the proposed contents at the foundation level. Coming to the intermediate level, like we said, 8 papers would become 6 papers. So दो papers कहाँ से कम हो रहे हैं? So paper 1 and 5 that are of accounts. Like I said, some topics should be moved at the foundation level. There are some topics which we feel that practically are not of much use for a chartered accountant if you become a chartered accountant, and that might get dropped from the curriculum. And then these two papers would get merged into one paper that would be a advanced accounting, that would paper 1. Corporate and other laws. So over here also the change that is being proposed, like I said, some laws would be moved into the foundation level. Companies Act, abhi, some portion is at the intermediate level, some is at the final level. So based on our feedback, the interactions, what we get is that the students feel, the principals also feel that having half knowledge of company law and during the practical training, the students are not able to execute their responsibilities in a proper manner because they are still studying some of the portions of the Companies Act and therefore they are not able to apply those portions when it comes to the practical training. So the proposal now is that the whole Companies Act would be moved to the intermediate level under the paper 2 corporate law. So once you know the whole Companies Act, you will be able to execute that in a much better way during the course of your practical training. You will be able to apply also that knowledge to the 100%. So this is the change proposed in paper 2. Paper 3 and paper 4, cost and management accounting, taxation which is a mix of direct and indirect tax, that would continue as it is, no changes in. Now paper 7 and 8, they get merged into one paper, that is paper 6 at the intermediate level. How? So at paper 7 you have the EIS and SM. So SM moves into paper 6, 50 marks. EIS, which is technology based, what is being proposed is that ethics and technologies would be integrated into all the core subjects at the final level. So let us say that you have a direct tax paper at the final level, then there would be some portion on technology because when you download, let us say 26 AS, and then you have an Excel file where there are TDS entries that is exported from Tally. Then what tools you can use that you are able to map that, by which you are able to save time, bring in efficiency and accuracy also. Similarly, on the financial reporting, on the audit, there are these bots and all that are available. How you can use them to optimize the audit process, to minimize the risk. So all these things which are related to technology, they are proposed to be brought into the final level curriculum, and therefore EIS is proposed to be dropped from the intermediate level. And on the paper 8, we have financial management, which moves to paper 6 of the proposed curriculum, and economics of finance, like I mentioned earlier, would be moved into the foundation level paper 4. So this is how the 8 papers would be the 6 papers and the contents of the 6 papers at the intermediate level. Moving to the self-paced online modules. So like I said, inter के बाद final के पहले इसको complete करना है. There are 4 papers into that, where under 2 papers the subjects, the contents are mandatory and 2 are elective. So we have set A, which is the compulsory economic laws. So these are other laws which are there under the final curriculum, which is now being brought into as the self-paced online module set A. Abhi 8 law you can see that have been suggested. I'm using the word suggested because all these are also still suggestions. If you feel you need to add anything, you need to remove anything, feel free, you can suggest that. Like in a few such outreach meetings, Chairman sir, I was told that one of the important laws nowadays is the Indian Evidence Act, which for chartered accountants is equally important like any other. So though it is not here, it was a suggestion that was given. So I'm just giving an example where you feel, based on your interactions, your experience, for you to appear, you will be asked on all 8. And इसलिए for you to appear, पढ़ना है नहीं पढ़ना है आपकी choice है. You selection में निकाल देना है, but all the 8 as per the syllabus, as per the contents are mandatory. Similarly, we have set B, which is strategic cost management and performance evaluation. Again, this was a paper at the final level, which is now being moved into as a self-paced online module. So these are the 2 mandatory papers, or I would say the contents, the syllabus of which is mandatory. Moving to set C, we had the elective paper 6 at the final level, where you had 6 options from which you had to select any one. That is being moved into as set C, but more options are being added. The purpose of this set C is typically where a student can, if he or she wants to specialize into any area, as a thought process, that this area अच्छा है, I want to do some very deep study into that, then the student can select any one of the 10 proposed subjects that are being given, and these are all the futuristic subjects that have been brought into, like the chairman sir mentioned, future ready chartered accountants. Like, so you have forensic, you have the IBC, you have international tax, you have the government accounting and public finance. So these are all the futuristic topics where you can select any one and appear for that. And also, if you feel you are very happy with it, post qualification, the institute has certificate courses for each one of them, which you can do to further gain knowledge and then maybe specialize or diversify into these areas. So that is with respect to set C. And set D, we had our learned speakers talking about the National Education Policy 2020, and this is what is being brought with respect to the NEP into the CA curriculum. We have the set D. So if you see, friends, these are the topics which are, so far we have never thought that this is a part of the CA curriculum or this would be used into, these are, typically these are not numbers and all those things, these are not laws or any such thing. But they are now equally important for a chartered accountant. And again, ये 5 suggest किए हैं. They are elective. You can select any one. Like you have the Constitution of India, you have philosophy, you have psychology, you have entrepreneurship, you have communication. So though not directly related to a practice or an industry, but these are equally important to make a great chartered accountant. So these are the subjects which are there. You have to elect any one and appear for that and clear the self-paced online module. So this is with respect to the self-paced online module. Coming to the final level papers, 8 में से 6 हो रहे हैं. So if you see, paper 1, 2, 3 remains same. Paper 4, corporate and economic laws. So like I said, economic laws moves into set A of the self-paced online module. The company law, it moves into the intermediate level, and therefore this paper is removed from the final level curriculum. Strategic cost management and performance evaluation, it becomes the set B of the self-paced online module, and therefore it is removed from this. Then you have paper 4 and 5, direct tax, international laws, international tax, and the indirect tax, they continue as it is. Ethics and information technology are proposed to be integrated into all the papers of the final curriculum, which is extremely important for all of you. Coming to paper 6, Javed sir mentioned about this, a business solution provider. And this is what paper 6 aims at. We had earlier a paper 6F, a multidisciplinary case study. Now that has been made as a mandatory paper as an integrated business solutions. It would be a multidisciplinary case study. What are my personal thoughts, I would say, not necessarily of the board or of the council, is that you might have a case study of 1.5, 2 pages with 5, 6, 7 questions associated with it. That case study might be 20, 25 marks, and like sir mentioned, you have to give a 360-degree view of it. See, wherever we go out, everybody says that you are excellent when it comes to compliance with the laws. But when it comes to giving solutions to problems, we miss out on some of the aspects. And therefore, this whole paper has been thought out in a way that the case study, the solutions that you would be giving would be, and if you see, it is placed right at the end. मतलब आपने पूरा पढ़ लिया है, practical training हो गई है, सारा exposure हो गया, and now we believe you are competent enough to give solutions to problems that are there as a businessman. And maybe my thought process is कि ये जो case study के questions होंगे, there might not be a single standard answer to it. 5 students might give 5 different answers, and each answer might also be correct. So this is how we want to develop the application of skills, the analytical skills, that whatever you have studied, how you apply it into real life situations. That is what is proposed to be tested into this paper, and I believe very strongly that this is going to be a game changer in respect of making future ready chartered accountants. So this is with respect to the curriculum. Now coming to some of the examination aspects, the manner of assessment at the foundation level, we have some papers objective, some descriptive. Negative marking here for 25% for the MCQs. That continues. That continues for in the proposed scheme also. Like I said, paper 1 and 3 are objective, 2 and 4 are descriptive. 25% negative marking continues. Coming to the intermediate and the final level, presently we have 30% objective and 70% descriptive in theory papers at the intermediate level and select papers at the final level. Proposal is 30% and 70% to be made mandatory. It would be in all the papers now at the intermediate and final level, plus 25% negative marking for each wrong answer in the MCQs in the objective type is proposed to be introduced at the intermediate level as well as final level, just to ensure that minimum guesswork is done by the students. So MCQ में क्या होता है पता है 2 आंसर तो गलत ही है और बाकी 2 में फंस जाते हैं और कभी वो टॉस भी करना पड़ता है कि हेड्स आए तो ये वाला, टेल्स आए तो ये. You have to avoid that situation. And we want students that they are better prepared, they are able to interpret things correctly and respond to the MCQs, and that is why the proposal of introducing negative marks. Pass percentage, Savresh sir also mentioned about it. He gave his candid views on this, that at the foundation level, presently we have 40% in each and 50% in the aggregate to pass the foundation level, which is proposed to be now 50% in each of the papers. Intermediate and final, it remains same, 40% in each and 50% in the aggregate to pass a group. That continues in the proposed scheme also. As far as the self-paced online modules is concerned, 50% marks in each of the papers. And friends, let me tell you, this self-paced के marks जो है, that would in no way be linked with the final marks. मतलब you know that इतना नहीं है कि आपको इसमें इतना मिलना है, वो final में add होगा और फिर then you would be become declared successful. No, they are all both independent, but passing the self-paced online module is a prerequisite, is a criteria for you to appear for the final examination. Exemption, this was also talked about. So what the change that is proposed for the first 3 attempts, it remains the same. So a student is exempted from appearing for the papers in which he or she has scored 60% or more, and balance papers में जो appear करना है उसमें 40% in each, और exempted papers पर ये paper मिला के total 200 mark. That continues from 4th attempt onwards. Presently what we have is exemption lapse हो जाता है and the student has to appear for all the 4 papers. What is now being proposed is a choice is being given to the student. So that आपको lapse करना है, आप lapse कर सकते हैं, take 40% in each, 50% in the aggregate and move ahead. If you want the exemption to continue, the exemption would continue, but for the papers in which you are appearing, you have to score 50% in each. So this is an option, and when I analyze many times and I discuss, I feel that it can work both ways for the benefit of students, depending on the number of exemptions, papers that in which exemption has been obtained, the type of paper. If you ask समझिए कोई practical paper है where I feel I've got exemption in only one paper, an accounts paper where I feel I'm very strong, and 3 attempt तक बाकी नहीं हो पाया है for one reason or the other, I might decide कि मैं drop कर देता हूँ ये exemption, I appear for all the 4, and maybe that paper appearing again, it would pull up the marks and I might be able to pass the exam. It can work the other way also. If a student has got exemption in 2 or more papers also, then the student might feel कि इसको फिर से पढ़ना, और CA में तो कोई गारंटी नहीं है ना, एक बार exemption आया तो दूसरी बार पास भी हो सकता है, राइट? तो वो ऐसा सोचेगा कि नहीं ये exemption है, ये अपना स्टोरेज है, रहने दो इसको, बाकी मैं मेहनत करके 40% की जगह 50% ले आएंगे, तो maybe then my success ratio might be better. So it can work both ways, but definitely sir has given his suggestions which we will definitely consider. Practical training. So now what is being proposed is intermediate, you pass both the groups, वो डायरेक्ट एंट्री स्टूडेंट हो या फिर फाउंडेशन एंट्री का स्टूडेंट हो, दोनों को इंटरमीडिएट पास करना है. बोथ ग्रुप्स कंप्लीट द आईटी एंड द एसएस कोर्सेज, सॉफ्ट स्किल्स, एंड यू जॉइन द आर्टिकलशिप. द आर्टिकलशिप पीरियड इज नाउ बीइंग ब्रॉट डाउन फ्रॉम 3 years to 2 years, and the leave is proposed to be 12 years. 12 leaves in a year. 12 years. So 12 leaves in a year. Yesterday again, like I said, there was a question a student asked, is there 12 leaves हम बीमार पड़ेंगे, ये होगा वो होगा, 12 तो बहुत कम है. I said arithmetically आज भी अगर देखें तो आपको 12 लीव ही मिले. What happens? We have a 3-year period. 1/7 of the leaves, so mathematically when you put it, it is 156 days over a 3-year cycle. Over 3 years you get 156 days. Final exam के लिए 4 महीने लीव तो सब लेते हैं या नहीं लेते? Which is appear, you have to appear in the last 6 months. So how many days are that? 120. So 156 minus 120, what is left? Divide by 3 years. So yesterday, so आज भी वही मिल रहा है, but वो क्या है नंबर, वो 1/7 1 वो कोई गिनता नहीं है ना, कैसे क्या होता है, वो लगता है अरे सब कुछ ले लिया हमारे हाथ से ना, ऐसा होता है, बट कुछ नहीं लिया है, जो है वही है. So you be rest assured, these 12 leaves, if you are, that it works for you today, it will work for you in future also. बराबर सर? Yeah. So नहीं actually यही है सर, अभी otherwise how, if you ask me how 12 came, it's not a number, it's actually a calculation how this 12 came. And वो 4 months का किसी को 6 महीना भी लेते हैं, कोई 5 महीना लेता है. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do some very basics. That this is how 12 days works, and it works now also, and it will work in the future also. Industrial training. So अभी in the last 18 months, industrial training is possible, which is proposed to be, क्योंकि 3 साल से आर्टिकलशिप 2 साल हो रही है, तो in the second year 12 months industrial training is possible. Transfer. First year transfer is possible. Second year transfer would be possible only on getting either industrial training you go for, or on certain conditions that the council may prescribe, they are getting satisfied that the transfer will be possible. Stipend 100% increase कर दिया. Business accounting associate, I think that also has been discussed. So I'll just inform at what level it would get triggered, right? So what are the conditions? I would say a very simple condition, that the student has not been successful in the final examination. That's it. मतलब आगे का सब कुछ कर लिया है. If you see these 4 conditions, intermediate both groups done, yes. Articleship 2 years done, yes. Self-paced online module 4 papers passed, yes. And the advanced IT and the GMCS course completed, yes. These 4 are the conditions. मतलब बचा क्या? Final examination. So actually, what I would say, this is giving an intermittent success route. You have been successful till this point in time, and the institute will give you a recognition, which will give you a certificate of a BAA, that you can use that for building up your career, for starting your career, whether in employment, you want to go abroad, you want to do anything, at least you get that recognition. Other than your BCom and MCom that you have from the institute, you will get something as a recognition, as a BAA, which can help you start your career. Another important thing on BA is that BA certificate लेने से CA की life बंद नहीं हो जाती. You can still appear for your final examinations if you want to pass your final exam. When you pass your final examination, you will be getting the membership of the ICI, and at that point in time, the BAA certificate will be withdrawn from ICI. Right. So this is what is the provisions with respect to BAA. COP. Chairman sir mentioned that this is not third year of articleship. This is a 1 year work experience which is required post qualification for any member who wants to do the take the certificate of practice. There is one exemption, that in a CA form, just मतलब COP जब अप्लाई कर रहे हैं उसके 5 साल पहले कोई CA फॉर्म में उस मेंबर ने 1 साल के लिए काम किया हो without COP, then that person would be eligible to have the COP immediately. उसको 1 साल फिर वो work experience वो गिना जाएगा. Additional 1 year, that person will not have to get the work experience in the practicing chartered accountant. This is what are the provisions for the certificate of practice. Coming to international curriculum, this is where I would request, Chairman sir, I would like you to take this forward once I end maybe in the Q&A about the international curriculum. So finally, summing up what we have over the whole life cycle, if we look at it. So foundation, you can register after passing class 10. The registration would be valid for 4 years. You can appear for foundation after appearing for class 12, and a minimum study period. मतलब आपका registration और foundation appear करें उसके बीच में 4 months time lag is required. A study period, what we say, is required 4 months. You can appear for the final exam, 50% passing mark in each of the papers. You pass your foundation, you register for intermediate, or you come from the direct entry route with the requisite marks, you register for the intermediate exam. The registration would be valid for 5 years with a revalidation of 5 years. When you register for the intermediate, by default, you would also be registering for the business accounting associate certificate or that recognition. You appear for intermediate exam. The study period is 8 months. मतलब intermediate का आप registration करवाएंगे और आपकी exam जब होगी उसके बीच में it is expected 8-month gap for you to prepare, for you to study for the intermediate exam. So 6 papers, 2 groups, and passing of 40% in each and 50% in the aggregate. Pass both the groups of the intermediate exam. You complete your IT and your soft skill course, and you join your articleship. You start your articleship and you register for the final course. Registration is valid for 10 years, which can again be extended for another 10 years or every 10 years, I would say. Articleship 2 years, second year industrial training, 12 leaves per year, so 24 leaves over 2 years. You undergo your advanced IT and soft skills, pass the 4 self-paced online module, complete your articleship before appearing for the final exam. Again, over here, a 6-month study period is prescribed. So after you complete your articleship, you can appear for final only 6 months after completing your articleship. So this 6 months is typically what we say is a study period for your final exam. अभी भी आप final exam के पहले leave लेते हैं 4 महीने की 5 महीने whatever, so that would get covered over there, and you have a 2-year exam free articleship period, right? This is what I would say, and I would say it is extreme. Inside when I have analyzed, I say it is very useful from the student side as well as from the principal side, because when I look at my office also, at any given point in time, 35 to 40% of the articles are on leave, and that also at the prime period for their learning. I'll tell you, being a partner in audit, heading the audit, the student sir, वो दिसंबर जनवरी तक भी बहुत बार वो खींच लेता है, लिमिटेड रिव्यू करता है, listed companies, the large companies and all. But April and May, that student is on leave. So finalization, in days, the disclosures, you have the, let us say, the schedule 3, CARO, audit report, the documentation, all these things, the student misses out on. And वो exam के बाद आता है, तब at least ये सारे जो cream clients हम लोग बोलते हैं, where the student are actually wanting to learn, they are over, and then again they are into the limited review cycle and all. Even if so that is a great situation from my side also when I see for some of the projects that we undertake. हम लोग जब team decide करते हैं, तो जब articles का नाम आते हैं, तब हम लोग देखते हैं कि वो कब leave पे जाने वाला है. I'll be very candid about it. And then when we know that this student might not be available till the end of the project, then many times somebody else or that student gets replaced. So it's a win-win from both the sides, that I also know that this student is available for 2 continuous years, and so everybody is equal when I do my project planning and everything, and for the student also, they would get uninterrupted training, and which would be extremely helpful for them. So if I look at it, though there might be numbers might come down, but whatever the quality would be something which would improve significantly. So final examination, you appear 6 months after completion of your articleship, 6 papers divided into 2 groups, 40% in each, 50% for the group aggregate, and if you are not successful, apply for BAA exemption. 3 exemption तक चलेगा, 4th exemption onwards, you have the option either to continue with it and get 50% in each, or withdraw or surrender the exemption, appear for all the papers, get 40% in each and 50% in the aggregate. Pass both the groups of final exam, become a member of the ICI, and if you want to go for apply for the COP, at that time you have to undergo 1 year work experience under a fellow CA in practice. So these are the important links. Chairman sir has already mentioned about it. The bureau is CRET.ici.org, and our email IDs are also there. So in case you want to get any clarification, feel free to connect to any of us, and we will be more than happy to respond to you. Thank you very much for a very patient listening. And best of luck to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Moving forward, I request CA Sachin Bansal, sir, Vice Chairman. If you have any questions regarding this new course, you are requested to write it down on a paper. It shall be submitted to the dignitaries and they will be answered later.
1 or 2 questions.
Any questions?
I have few suggestions. One is what you referred is market compensation to new CA. Okay, I think that cannot be compared with industry CA. But firms cannot afford to pay so much compensation to some.
That is not the criteria. Actually, the criteria is basically the salary. The salary whichever the firm has to pay, the firm has to pay. So the salary which the firms are paying, that will only be the salary. The market salary is basically that. Because industry salary is different, practice salary is different. So that is going to be based on the practice salary.
Secondly, more stress is required in drafting skills development. Because what we usually see, this is where lacuna.
Yeah,
All
I agree.
professional can attend.
So when we are talking about self-paced learning,
Yeah.
we want to introduce confuse them, kindly give you suggestions.
Yes, because presentation skills are also desired because they usually many times.
GMCS is there, sir.
But that is not sufficient. That is not sufficient.
So that is the basic.
Some compulsion is required.
Yeah.
And that means that even only for
No, all also,
all those who have done their
intermediate, they'll get the DA, sir.
again. What is the time?
They can apply once this is approved and we are moving forward. They can apply in date, but in case of the new student, it will be pre-applied.
One more is we are given the option to go for English vocabulary development and other things, but it is a voluntary. I think that needs to be made compulsory because there are a lot of
कंपल्सरी करते करते पूरे कोर्स की कहानी बदल दी है सर. हम चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बचे ना एक्सपर्ट बचे. So what is happening is so many courses, students from cities and towns, they have done their English very good. So what is happening is those students who are coming, they are not coming now. So what is happening is if you are talking about most of it is becoming rural course. So for those people, what we want to do is we want to do it separate course. They have an option to read, and it is the choice of a student. That is their will and wish to develop themselves. The writing ability is to be developed by them only. Presentation skill is to be developed by them only. We cannot insist everything to be done. That was a, I don't say a mistake, but that was a time which was required the way we have done it in past. But what we are looking is from an international perspective and a future perspective. What is required, we are filling around.
So I remember it is there was CR entrance exam, and the English course was of a MA English level. That was
I
really
appreciate English is required, however, you can take horse to the water, you cannot make it drink. So until that option is made available, you should consume it, that's all. And those who are already having flair in English language, they need not take it. Ultimately, we have to balance the burden on student for appearing for exam and the capacity of learning. So wherever which is indispensable for CA, that is written, whatever is peripheral, like information technology, he should know. Can he study income tax law and file return? That is not possible. So it is embedded in that particular curriculum.
The last one is self-paced online model passing percentage is 50%. I think it should take it to 75%.
Ease, entry and easy exit.
Yeah, noted, sir. You can give something your suggestion, we will take it up.
And the last one I think
But while giving suggestion, you state that I am not going to appear.
the last one I have suggested is the mock tribunal sessions need to be compulsory.
That is under SIRS committee. SIRS committee.
Because what we see, all the tribunal, our people are very less in numbers compared to advocates. CAs are very limited.
No, I think my observation is that the go to the Pune tribunal.
Pune tribunal, yes, I am going, so I know, but other tribunals.
Right, thank you, sir. And just for the students, very quickly, the transitory provisions which are going to come, let me just share with you, it will be in favor of the students only. Mostly, we are not going to actually hinder anywhere even. So whatever changes which are going to come, example, if a person is opted for 3 years of articulation, in that particular case, we might come with an exemption saying that 1 year post qualification will not be required because you have completed 3 years articulation. Example, if you have completed an intermediate examination with other papers, so we might give you an exemption for self-paced learning. You need not do self-paced learning because you've done other law learning. So COP, not COP. It's self-paced learning. Self-paced learning means we might tell you, okay, you need not do because you have done other laws, right? So similarly, lot of new things are going to come in. So all the provisions which are going to be transitory will be in the favor of the student, point number 1. And number 2, which I started, I am ending the same thing. I believe in my father, I believe in my guru, right? I request you all one thing. There are some people who are doing unnecessary speculation on the new syllabus. Some media, they are putting in, there cannot be a better guru than Zavre sir, who has taught us in the interest of the profession and this thing. Some people are actually getting into a form, commercialization of the entire course. So I request you all people not to go for any, biased approach which has been shared on social media. We are very clear in this aspect. If you have any doubt, forget me, Chitle sir and Vishal bhai. Sir is there for you to reach out and take any clarification. Don't go on social media discussions, speculations, and all kind of unnecessary discussion which are taking place. It's no worth. Will you listen to your parents or your neighbors? Parents is ICA, not the neighbors.
We would have loved to take more questions, but we have another program at Pune. So whatever issues you have, maybe you write down and you connect our branch. Vaibhav is leading the students association, so he will definitely take care these particular issues are addressed. And as Daya has rightly said that.
So 28th we are doing the outreach program for all the clarification of students. So 28th of this month, June, right? 28th of June, we are going to come out with all clarification which students have at a national outreach. All is online. You can give your suggestion or your queries can be posted to us, and we will take up all those queries. Right? By now we know what are the concerns, so we are obviously going to address those. So your all concerns will be addressed. And only thing which I would like to say is this will be in interest of all you people. Please go and put your comments today rather than now. Okay? Thank you.
Requesting CA Sachin Bansal sir, Vice Chairman, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
I have been given the pleasant task of proposing the vote of thanks. I'd like to thank Chairman Board of Studies, Sri Dayanima Sharma sir, Vice Chairman Sri Vishal Doshi sir, Member Sri M.S. Jadhav sir, and also own Guru Sri Zavde sir, Sri Chandrasekhar Chidde sir, to be present at this outreach program and guide all us members. I'd like to end this vote of thanks with a small couplet. The winds of change are blowing, urging me to flow. It's time to start the journey and finally let go. The path may be uncertain, I have to walk alone, but my heart will guide me through this. My soul will lead me home. Thank you everyone for this.
I request everybody to raise for the national anthem.
I think let us have seated so that we can unfold.
And also go to काढून ऑपरेट करायला
Danny.
नाही
Programs, board of study divided.
विनोदला बोलू ना विनोद किंवा किरणला बोलू मग ते युट्यूबवर लाईव्ह ऑफ करायचं आहे. बोल इधर लाइव चालू है. नाश्ता मैम को बोलो अनिशा मैम प्रतिमा मैडम. हाँ क्या 2 मिनट. मस्त हो गया ना.
प्रोफेशनल वेरी
और हमें भी सीखने मिलता है और हमें डेलिबरेटली और सबको बताना है. बहुत सारे दिमाग क्या आजकल बच्चे यूट्यूब पे हमारे यहाँ पे तो ना ओरिएंटेशन आईटी के लिए भी हम लोग को तो ये पता है. अरे भाई तो महाराष्ट्र को आप ये यूट्यूब है पेरेंट्स आप ही गए हम भी बोलते मला आन्सर येतो. चला आणि इन्स्टिट्यूटच्या साईडला ए ऐक ना ओंकार ते विनोदला बोलव ना ते ऑफ करायचे मला. हाँ हाँ है सर.